3 days alone, and no one knew until one little girl exposed the truth. Can you be my mama? In the heart of Maplewood, the town was buzzing with its usual morning rhythm. That is until silence fell, like the curtain dropping at the end of a play. Claire, the humble single mother and waitress at the local diner, had not shown up for 3 days. Her absence felt like a gaping hole, an empty seat in a booth full of laughter and chatter. Folks were worried, and whispers spread like wildfire. No one knew where Claire had gone, but everyone felt the weight of her disappearance. Meanwhile, 6-year-old Lily, with her wild golden curls and bright blue eyes, was blissfully unaware of the chaos bubbling around her. She skipped down the sidewalk, her tiny heart filled with a simple question that echoed in her innocent mind: can you be my mama? With every person she encountered, she unleashed her charming smile, facing teachers, shopkeepers, and neighbors alike. Each inquiry stirred something deep in their chests, igniting a spark of sympathy and frustration. How could a child like Lily be left to fend for herself? The town's eyes fell on Tom, a weathered veteran who had lived through his own storms. With haunted eyes that spoke of battles fought, he found himself drawn to Lily's voice. At that moment, he decided. It was time to act. He approached Miss Betty, the beloved town matriarch, renowned for her delicious pies and caring spirit. Together, they rallied the townsfolk, knocking on doors, gathering clues, and digging deeper into Claire's sudden disappearance. Each visit stirred emotions. As they spoke about Claire's struggles, people began to reveal their own burdens, the financial difficulties, and the silent battles they fought within their homes. Through the quiet inquiries, they uncovered the growing isolation Claire had embraced, her pride building walls around her heart. Mixed into every exchange were shared laughs, sorrowful sighs, and the unmistakable sense of community meant to heal. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Tom and Betty gathered stories, the emotional threads of their community began to intertwine, revealing hidden hurts and a desire for connection that had long been buried. They formed unsteady alliances and opened up about the very biases and unspoken divides that had kept them apart. Every door they knocked sent ripple effects of hope through Maplewood. Little did they know, while community ties stretched and conversations flowed, Claire battled an unexpected illness, fever gripping her soul like a vice, isolating her further in her desperate fight to recover. Her pride began to crack, revealing a depth of love for Lily stronger than any financial struggle. Then, one chilly afternoon, just as the sun began to dip beneath the horizon, they found her. Weak but alive, Claire's worries burned in her eyes as she met the faces of the townsfolk who had battled through the shadows to find her. The reunion sent shockwaves, igniting discussions about empathy, forgiveness, and the burden of pride that kept their hearts apart. But a question lingered in the air, heavy and unresolved, echoing Lily's heart-wrenching plea: can friendship truly heal the wounds of pride? The town stood on the brink of transformation, caught in a moment, poised for change amidst unavoidable truths yet to be shared. As Claire sat in the center of the living room, her skin pale and clammy, she scanned the faces surrounding her. Each one held a blend of worry, relief, and deep compassion. Tom's grizzled face softened as he met her gaze with an understanding that spoke volumes. "You scared us, Claire," he said, his voice thick, but laced with kindness. She swallowed hard, the guilt swirling in her gut like a storm. "I didn't want anyone to worry," she managed, voice barely a whisper. The shame she felt was heavy, almost too much to bear. How could she have let herself fall so low? Around her, the room buzzed with quiet energy as people exchanged glances. Miss Betty stepped forward, her motherly spirit shining brightly. "We all struggle, Claire. What matters is that you didn't face this alone. We're here for you, for Lily." Hearing Lily's name snapped Claire back from her self-loathing thoughts. Her heart raced as she remembered the innocent little girl, her beacon of light through the darkest moments. "Where's Lily?" she asked, panic rising in her voice. "She's with Mrs. Johnson." "We'll bring her," Tom reassured. Relief washed over her, but worry still nudged at her heart. Minutes later, the door creaked open, and in walked Lily, her curls bouncing so brightly that they seemed to catch the fading light. Claire's heart swelled at the sight of her daughter. But as Lily's blue eyes found her mother, a flicker of confusion crossed her face. "Mama?" she asked softly, taking a tentative step forward. With a rush of emotion, Claire crouched down, arms opening wide. "I'm here, sweet girl. I'm so sorry." She scooped Lily into her embrace, the warmth of her small body grounding her like a lifeline. "Promise you won't leave me again?" Lily's voice trembled, coated in innocence and a wisdom only a child could possess. Claire held her tighter, determined to banish any demons that threatened her family. "I promise, Lily." "I promise." Around them, the townsfolk felt the tangible bond of love and resilience forming. They were slowly learning this, that being vulnerable was a path to healing, a way of knitting their lives back together. Each hardship shared ignited hope, and every story woven was a thread of connection. But just as Claire began to feel that glimmer of light breaking through her darkness, a shadow loomed over her heart. Her illness hadn't just made her weak physically, it had highlighted her insecurities, her fears of failing as a mother. Could she truly mend the wounds that had formed between her and the community? Could they forgive her for her silence, for her pride? As these thoughts swirled in her mind, Claire's gaze drifted to the cozy nook in the living room. The gathering was a precious circle of love, yet she couldn't shake the doubt that tinged the air. Feeling the weight of their collective gaze, she took a deep breath. "I can't do this alone anymore. I need your help," Claire spoke, her voice steady but vulnerable. "Will you support me? Will you teach me how to lean on you?" The murmurs of agreement echoed softly, but one voice stood out amidst the crowd. "Together, we can rebuild," Tom reaffirmed, his heart open. But just as hope began to blossom, a figure loomed in the doorway, someone with concerns that hadn't been voiced yet. Lily turned, clutching her mother's hand tight. "Who's that, Mama?" Claire's heart dropped as her eyes fell on the unexpected visitor, a person from her past she thought she had left behind, someone who could unravel everything they'd just begun to piece together. Who had come to challenge their fragile sense of community? And what did they want? Claire's heart thudded in her chest as she recognized the silhouette against the light streaming from the doorway. The familiar figure seemed to slice through the warmth of the room, casting a shadow that chilled her spine. It was Jenna, an old friend turned bitter enemy, whose presence threatened to unravel the fragile warmth that had been woven so carefully around Claire. "Jenna," Claire breathed, the name slipping out like a reluctant confession. Lily tightened her grip, instinctively sensing her mother's anxiety. Claire knelt down, her eyes never leaving Jenna's as she tried to mask the turmoil inside. "I didn't expect to see you here," Claire managed, her voice steadier than she felt. Jenna stepped into the room, her expression a mix of defiance and uncertainty. "Surprising, isn't it? You thought you could just shut everyone out?" Her voice rang sharp, sparking the tension that had been building. Claire felt a flicker of resentment and fear rise within her. I needed space to heal," she defended weakly, aware that Jenna's words cut deeper than she wanted to admit. "Space? Or is it more about running away?" Jenna shot back, her gaze flickering to the gathering of neighbors. The room grew quieter as everyone sensed the friction, eyes darting between the two women. "Maybe we should talk outside," Tom suggested, trying to mend the tension with mature diplomacy. But Claire couldn't meet his gaze. She was paralyzed by memories, shared laughter, betrayal, and echoes of an unresolved rift that had long since settled between her and Jenna. "No," Claire blurted, the decision bursting from her as a protective instinct for her daughter. "Whatever you came to say it here. I won't hide." Jenna's lips curled into a smirk, knowing how to get under Claire's skin. "Fine, then. Let us talk in front of everyone. Everyone should know how easy it is for someone to break, she said, leaning into the crowd, almost as if daring them to take sides. The room held its breath, tension palpable in the air. Claire felt every heartbeat drumming in her ears, the weight of judgment and the fear of being exposed mingling together. She glanced at Lily, who was now peering up at her, wide-eyed and innocent. It was Lily's trust that anchored Claire, reminding her what she stood to lose. "There's nothing to expose," Claire replied, firming her resolve. The warmth of her daughter's small hand in hers sparked something fierce inside her. "I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be here for my daughter." "Oh really?" Jenna crossed her arms, pulling back the veil of accusations. "Let us talk about how you disappeared. What if I told them why?" The air thickened around them, and Claire's thoughts spiraled. The secret Jenna held was a poison from their past, one that still felt fresh, like a wound carefully bandaged yet never quite healed. "Stop it," Claire said sharply. "What do you gain by dragging this out?" "Oh, sweet Claire," Jenna's voice dripped with condescension. "I gain the truth. And the truth is messy." Before Claire could respond, Lily spoke up. "What do you mean, Mama? Is she lying?" Her small voice shattered the tension, forcing everyone to focus on the bond between mother and daughter. Claire crouched down again, brushing a curl behind Lily's ear. "No, honey, she's not lying. But I'm working on becoming who I need to be. For you." Every eye turned back to Jenna, waiting for her reaction. "What's it going to take, Claire?" Jenna taunted. "You can only pretend for so long." The words hung in the air, dangerously overcharged, and Claire felt the weight of every gaze weighing down on her. The tension surged, and she stood a little taller, clenching her fists. "Maybe it's time I stopped pretending." Claire's voice rang with new determination. But as that declaration hung in the air like an echo, a chill ran through the room, a harbinger of what was to come. "What happens when the truth comes out?" Jenna nudged, the menace in her tone promising that the worst was yet to come. Claire hesitated, the uncertainty settling in her gut. Could she truly face whatever Jenna had planned? As she looked around at the faces of her friends, a question loomed large. What would be the next step toward healing, and could she endure the storm brewing just beyond her door? Claire's heart raced, the weight of Jenna's words hanging heavy in the air. A mix of dread and defiance surged within her. She looked at Lily, who was still beside her, trusting, expectant. In that moment, Claire felt fierce she would protect that trust at all costs. "Jenna, whatever games you're playing, I'm not playing along," Claire said, her voice steadying as an inner fire ignited. The chattering neighbors, who had been mere spectators until now, suddenly felt more present. Their faces reflected a whirlwind of curiosity, concern, and disbelief. Jenna laughed, a sharp, humorless sound. "Oh, Claire. You think this is a game to me? This is about survival. Yours, and Lily's too." The crowd shifted uneasily, tension woven through their whispers. Claire felt each pair of eyes on her, almost as if she were standing naked in front of them. She fought to hold her ground, channeling every ounce of strength for Lily's sake. "Survival?" Claire echoed, the word dimming her resolve for a brief moment. Jenna was implying something deeper, something darker, but Claire wouldn't let the panic take hold. "What do you mean?" "Let us not dance around the truth," Jenna continued, stepping closer and lowering her voice. "I know your secrets. If I expose them now, how do you think the people in this room will see you? You think they'll still trust you with their children? Why do you care?" Claire shot back, her frustration erupting. "Is this just about revenge?" Jenna's eyes narrowed. "It's about showing everyone who you really are. The Claire that likes to pretend life is just fine." A murmur broke out among the crowd. Claire felt heat creeping up her neck, yet she steadied her breath. She couldn't let Jenna win. She had fought hard for a semblance of stability, a new life with Lily. Claire needed to expose her heart. If you want the truth, then here it is. I did run away, and it was for a reason. The door swung open suddenly, and in walked Marjorie, the seasoned neighbor, carrying a tray of cookies. Who needs snacks? This is quite the gathering. She smiled, oblivious to the tension crackling in the air. Claire caught a glimpse of relief in a few faces as the atmosphere shifted slightly. Marjorie's naive cheerfulness disrupted the intensity, a welcome distraction. Yet, Claire could tell the gathering was still on edge, half listening to the undercurrent of conflict. Let us have these delicious cookies and forget about any drama, Marjorie continued, handing them out with a warm smile. Claire, seizing the moment, took a cookie and broke it in half, offering the other half to Lily. See? We're just here for the treats, right? Claire managed a weak smile, trying to lighten the mood for her daughter, but Jenna wasn't finished. This isn't over, Claire. You think you can just brush it aside? Think again. I'll expose you when the time is right. Claire's heart sank at the challenge hidden in Jenna's words. She swallowed hard. Could she truly face whatever storms were brewing if it meant protecting Lily? As Jenna turned to leave, Claire caught a glimpse of only herself, the real Claire, imperfect and scarred. The truth lay heavy on her tongue. But was she ready to take that plunge? Wait. Claire called after Jenna, the weight of the crowd pressing down on her shoulders like an anchor pulling her under. What do you even want from me? Jenna paused at the door, a sly smile creeping across her lips. Oh, Claire, when the truth comes out, you'll finally understand. As Jenna stepped out, the door closing behind her, Claire felt a rush of wind that carried an unexpected chill. What does that mean? Lily asked, looking up with wide eyes. Claire squeezed her daughter's hand, uncertainty gnawing at her. I don't know, sweetheart. But we'll figure it out together. The room was heavy with silence as Claire stood, resolving to face the forthcoming chaos. She could feel the storm approaching on the horizon, filled with truths she wasn't yet ready to confront. But as she looked into Lily's innocent eyes, Claire thought, maybe this was the moment to change everything. What would it take for her to stand tall when the truth shattered her world? The tension hung in the air like a storm cloud, thick and impenetrable. Claire could feel the weight of the crowd's curiosity bearing down on her, their glances darting between her and the remnants of Jenna's threatening words. She shifted uncomfortably, wishing she could make this moment disappear, but she couldn't. Not when Lily's hand was clasped tightly in hers. Mommy? Lily's voice broke through the silence, soft and uncertain. What's wrong with that lady? Claire knelt down, her eyes meeting Lily's. Nothing you need to worry about, sweetheart. She forced a smile, hoping to mask her own fear. But the fire in Jenna's words was still sizzling in the back of her mind, threatening to burn everything she had built. Marjorie, still blissfully unaware of the tension, started a small conversation with the neighbors around her, trying to bring back the cheerful atmosphere. You must try these cookies. Best batch I've ever made. The people gathered began to take the cookies, and some laughter floated through the room, but Claire felt detached. Her heart raced, battling between the desire to protect Lily and the desperation to keep her own past buried. She raised half a cookie to her lips, taking a bite but tasting nothing. Can you really keep everyone safe? Lily asked, her eyes searching Claire's face earnestly. Claire's throat tightened. I'll always keep you safe, Lily. That's my promise. But deep down, Claire was scared. What if Jenna was right? What if the secret she harbored came flooding out, unveiling a past that could tear apart her fragile life? Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the kitchen, pulling everyone's attention away from the heavy atmosphere. They turned to see Marjorie hastily gathering the broken plate of cookies scattered across the floor. Oh, dear. Just a little mishap. She called with an amused laugh, breaking the tension with her usual warmth. Despite her efforts, laughter bubbled up nervously from the crowd as they tried to shake off the lingering anxiety. It was as if the chaos in the kitchen had mirrored what was happening in Claire's heart. Shards of memories threatened to resurface, and she felt exposed. Calming down, Claire instinctively looked back at the door. Jenna's parting words echoed in her mind like an ominous whisper. When the truth comes out, Claire shuddered, tears prickled at the edges of her eyes as she whispered to herself, I won't let her win. I won't let her destroy us. Just then, a soft voice interrupted her thoughts. Mommy, what truth? It was Lily again, her small hand reaching up to grasp Claire's. Taking a deep breath, Claire knelt once more. It's complicated, honey. Tell me. Lily insisted, her eyes wide and innocent, devoid of any judgment. Claire felt her heart twist. One day, I'll tell you everything. But for now, I just want you to know I love you, and that's enough. Lily nodded, though Claire could see the confusion clouding her daughter's face. The trust in those big brown eyes lit a spark of determination within Claire. She resolved to keep Lily shielded from the dark past that hovered like a shadow. But how long could she keep it hidden? As the laughter and chatter in the room flowed around her, Claire's gaze drifted to the door where Jenna had vanished. That door felt like a portal. Through it lay her past, and perhaps, the threat of losing everything. Turning back to her daughter, Claire put on a brave face, but inside, she felt like she was walking a tightrope, one misstep away from disaster. Let us go find Marjorie and help clean up, Claire said, forcing herself to smile as they both approached the commotion in the kitchen. As they joined the group of neighbors, Claire could almost feel the anger boiling beneath the surface, churning in the pit of her stomach. What bones would Jenna pick clean next? And would Claire be able to mend the fracture before it was too late? Stay close, Lily, she whispered, her voice deceptively steady. Whatever happens, we can get through it. But as the door's hinges creaked, a sudden chill swept through the room. Once more would the truth come crashing in before she was ready? And just like that, thoughts spiraled. The storm was brewing, and Claire wasn't sure if she was strong enough to face it head-on. Could she truly protect her daughter from the impending storm that Jenna promised to unleash? And now, all eyes were on her. Would the real Claire finally emerge, or would she continue to hide in the shadows, fearing the truth more than the devastation of losing everything? Claire felt her heart pounding as she joined the group in the kitchen. The sounds of breaking glass echoed in her mind, drowning out the laughter from the living room. Sweetness of the cookies felt hollow now, tainted by uncertainty. Yet as she approached Marjorie, she wore a brave face, hoping no one would see the cracks forming beneath her skin. Let me help you with that, Claire said, bending down to scoop up a few shards of the broken plate. The kitchen buzzed around her, a hive of activity that felt like both comfort and chaos. With each clatter of dishes and cheerful chatter, Claire felt an involuntary smile tugging at her lips. But inside, her thoughts wrestled with dread. What would Jenna do next? How could she protect Lily from this shadowy figure lurking just outside their cozy bubble? Here, let us clean this up, Marjorie said, brushing off her apron. Just a little hiccup. Right, Claire? Absolutely, Claire replied, her voice strong, but the tremor in her hands betrayed her. She glanced over at Lily, who was busy giggling with some other kids, their innocent laughter a reminder of what was at stake. Mommy! Lily called, her round face glowing with excitement. Can you come play with us? Claire hesitated. Around her, the noise swirled, warm and inviting, but all she could think about was the chill in the air, the reminder that darkness often lingers beneath light. In just a moment, sweetheart. I'll be there, she promised, forcing herself to stay focused on the task at hand. Marjorie noticed the change in Claire's demeanor, her eyes narrowing in concern. Are you okay, dear? You seem a bit lost. Claire managed a smile. Just thinking. She picked up another shard, the sharp edge reminding her of her own tangled past, the one that Jenna seemed all too eager to unearth. What's that lady's deal anyway? Marjorie asked gently, a hint of confusion in her voice. Claire hesitated again. Just someone from my past. Nothing to worry about. Marjorie nodded, casting a sideways glance toward the living room. Well, whatever it is, you're safe here. You know that, right? Yeah, I know, Claire replied, her heart swelling with gratitude. This was the community she had built, a sanctuary for her and Lily. Suddenly, the laughter in the room grew louder as Lily burst through the kitchen door, her little hands gripping a crooked piece of construction paper. Look, Mommy. I made a picture for you. Claire's breath caught in her throat. The picture was a jumble of colors, with a big heart and stick figures of her holding Lily's hand. That's beautiful, honey. Claire exclaimed, kneeling down to admire her daughter's artwork. Just then, a weighty silence settled over the room as Jenna re-entered, her presence siphoning the joy from the room like a vacuum. What do we have here? She mockingly asked, eyeing the drawing. Just a picture, Claire shot back, her voice steady despite the panic clawing at her insides. She felt Lily's tiny hand tighten around hers, an instinctual grip against impending danger. I didn't know you were an artist, Claire. Or is it just your daughter with a vivid imagination? Jenna smirked, the words dripping with uninhibited malice. The atmosphere shivered, and Claire felt the room hold its breath. An angry countertide threatened to surface. She could see the neighbors shift uncomfortably, their laughter cut short. Let it go, Jenna, Claire said, her voice stronger now, courage igniting. You don't know anything about us. Oh, but I do. I know the truth, Jenna shot back, a challenge sparking in her eyes. I wonder how long you can keep it hidden. As the tension mounted, Claire noticed Lily shifting nervously beside her. Was the innocent child catching on to this unspoken battle? What kind of world was she raising her in? The room felt increasingly colder as Jenna stepped closer, their faces mere inches apart. Claire's pulse quickened, everything felt twisted and heavy, like a knot tightening around her heart. Stay by my side, Lily, she whispered fiercely, feeling more protective than ever. Jenna threw her head back, a laughter that felt like shards of ice scattering across the room. Just wait until everyone finds out. Fear raced through Claire's chest. Would her daughter be caught in the fallout when the truth spilled out? Would anyone believe their life, or would they only see the name on her past? With resolve, Claire raised her chin, meeting Jenna's defiant stare. You think you know the truth? You're about to find out just how wrong you really are. As the words left her mouth, Claire understood the inevitable. A conflict was brewing far bigger than she'd anticipated. But she wouldn't let her past dictate her future. The air thickened again with expectation, uncertainty swirling like the storm clouds outside. The stakes were rising. The next move could change everything. What would Jenna reveal? And would Claire's fragile fight to protect her daughter hold fast as the storm bore down upon them? Claire's chest tightened as Jenna's laughter echoed in the kitchen, a sound that felt like a grenade bursting the fragile bubble of safety she had built around herself and Lily. She swiveled her gaze to the others, searching for support in the sea of unfamiliar faces. The neighbors were hesitant, drawn into the drama but unsure of how to intervene. Why don't we all just enjoy the party? Marjorie chimed in, her hands working nervously on her apron. Claire could see her weaving through the tension, trying to diffuse the situation. But the heat between Claire and Jenna was palpable, crackling like static in the air. Let's just focus on the kids, Claire, Jenna said, a sinister smile curling her lips. After all, children thrive in the truth, don't they? Claire leaned closer to Lily, who was clutching her picture, the vibrant colors suddenly dull under the weight of the looming threat. Mommy, can we show everyone my drawing? Lily's innocent smile felt like a beacon and a burden all at once. Of course, sweetie, Claire said, forcing a smile for her daughter's sake. She turned to the crowd. Lily made this for me. Yet the picture felt like an exposed nerve, vulnerable and aching under Jenna's cool gaze. The group was shifting, their excitement slipping through their fingers. Would they turn against her too? She had fought so hard to create this life for Lily, and now it felt like it could all unravel in an instant. Such a sweet drawing, one neighbor murmured, trying to bring the mood back. You're a wonderful artist, Lily. The support felt thin, but it was something. However, Jenna leaned in ever closer, her eyes maintaining a predatory glint. You may want to hold on to that drawing, Claire. It might be one of the last reminders of what you wished for. Her words dripped with malice, and Claire felt nauseous from the confrontation. Enough! Claire shouted, the command startling even herself. I want to let you weaponize my past, or use my daughter against me. There was a weight in her voice that silenced the kitchen, the cheer fading into an uncertain stillness. Jenna stepped back as if struck, her confidence wavering. But Claire saw the flash of anger igniting again. She knelt down, looking directly into Lily's wide brown eyes. We are safe, baby. No one can hurt us, I promise. Just stay close. The little girl nodded, trusting, yet Claire noticed her innocence was starting to shatter beneath the strain of their encounter. Would Jenna's words stick in her mind like poison? Jenna's voice sliced through her thoughts. Be careful, Claire. The truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how deep it's buried. She turned her gaze to the assembled crowd. You all might want to know the kind of mother your friend really is. Gasps erupted from a couple of neighbors. Claire's heart sank. She could see their expressions shift, whispers starting among them as if Jenna had thrown a rock in still water. Jenna, don't, Claire begged, urgency flooding her veins. This is not the time or place. But the churning chaos surged around her, consuming the innocent laughter that had filled the room just moments before. Are you scared, Claire? Jenna taunted, her tone laced with delight at Claire's mounting fear. What if I told them about your little secrets? Claire took a breath, steeling herself. Secrets are only dangerous when they aren't owned, she said, her voice unwavering despite the tremor in her heart. I'm not ashamed of my past, and neither is Lily. Somewhere beneath the chorus of voices, she noticed Marjorie watching her, a flicker of determination lighting her eyes, but Jenna wasn't done. They want to know. Just wait until you see the look on their faces. She stepped closer, and Claire braced herself against the tide of dread washing over her. Lily tugged on her sleeve, a small anchor in the storm. Mommy, can we just go play? She whispered, her youthful spirit dimmed but still fighting to shine through. A wave of protectiveness surged in Claire. She wouldn't let Jenna poison what she had sacrificed so much to build. Yes, we can, she affirmed, straightening up. You are my priority, Lily. Always. Then, locking eyes with Jenna, she declared fiercely, and I will fight for both of our futures. The air felt electric, tension wrapping around them like a tight coil ready to snap. Jenna's smirk faltered, just for a moment, before returning with renewed menace. Let us see how long that lasts. With the storm brewing outside, Claire's heart raced, uncertainty rippling through her. What could Jenna reveal, and would it unravel the very fabric of her life? As she held tight to Lily's hand, she felt the weight of fear, desperation, and a growing resolve. After all, Jenna whispered, retreating just enough to let her words sink in, everyone has a breaking point, even you. And as Claire managed to see the spark of rebellion flicker in Lily's eyes, she wondered if this battle was only just beginning. Could she protect her daughter from the truth that loomed like a shadow, ready to consume them both? Claire's mind raced, a whirlwind of emotions tumbling over one another as Jenna faded back, leaving an unsettling stillness lingering in the air. She looked down at Lily, whose fingers wrapped tightly around hers, the innocence in her eyes dulled by the shadows of the confrontation. Sweetheart, Claire whispered, kneeling to meet her at eye level. How about we find a quiet spot to draw together? Just you and me? Lily nodded, her little face brightening a fraction, but Claire could see the tension still coiling in her shoulders. The backyard seemed inviting, with its blooming wildflowers and the sun peeking through the clouds. They slipped out the kitchen door, the noises of the party fading behind them. As they settled on the porch steps, Lily began sketching again, her crayon scratching against paper. Claire watched her, searching for solace in her daughter's familiar rhythm. If only it could drown out Jenna's words, those venomous hints of the past creeping into their present. What if she tells them something bad? Lily asked, her small voice breaking through Claire's thoughts. Claire sighed, wishing she could shield her daughter from the world's harshness. Sometimes, people say things they don't mean to hurt others. But what matters is that we know the truth and that we love each other, no matter what. Lily nodded, but Claire could see uncertainty still clinging to her. She wrapped an arm around her daughter, enjoying the warmth of their closeness. "Let us draw something bright, something happy, okay?" As they doodled together, Claire felt a spark of joy igniting within her. Each color Lily chose felt like a shield against the darkness Jenna was trying to cast over their lives. The sun warmed their skin, and for a moment, it felt like they were in a bubble where nothing else could intrude, but even in that tranquil moment, Claire felt Jenna's threat looming, like storm clouds ready to unleash their fury. A sudden crash sounded from inside, the laughter mixed now with tense whispers. Claire's heart raced. What else was Jenna planning to unleash? "Mommy," Lily's voice trembled slightly, "what if they believe her? What if they think you're not a good mom?" Claire swallowed a lump in her throat. "That won't happen, Lily. I promise. The people who matter know who I am. Can I tell them the truth, Mommy? What if I told them who you really are?" Lily's eyes gleamed with innocence, as if the act itself were a powerful magic. Claire hesitated, unsure how to answer. "Honey, it's not your job to defend me. I'm the one responsible for protecting you. What matters most is how we see each other." She gently squeezed Lily's shoulder, grateful for the bond they shared. "I love you, Mommy," Lily whispered, her voice soft but filled with unwavering trust. "I love you too, sweet girl. Always." But inside, Claire's mind spiraled into worry. If Jenna were to twist the truth, would it shatter the little world they had built? Suddenly, Jenna's voice echoed from the house, sharper and louder than before, dragging something heavy right back into Claire's heart. "Oh, I can't wait for everyone to find out. You'll see how they'll react. The truth will come out one way or another." Claire stood, her protective instincts flaring back to life. She took a deep breath, instability surging through her. Should she go back inside? Face Jenna head-on? She felt a pressure building in her chest, one that felt like it was going to explode, but then she caught sight of Lily, who still sat on the porch, her crayon poised above the paper. The innocence of her drawing seemed to radiate purity amidst the noise. Claire opened her mouth to reassure her, but an unfamiliar thought lodged itself in her mind. What if Jenna's truth wasn't the only lie spinning through the room? The moment hung in the air like the stillness before a storm, filled with unanswered questions and dark possibilities. Could she bring the truth to the surface herself before Jenna got the chance? As Claire looked back towards the chaos inside, a plan began to form, spurred by the fierce love she felt for Lily. A battle was on the horizon, and she knew that with every heartbeat, she was inching closer to a confrontation she could no longer avoid. What lay in store when the truth finally came out? The shadows danced in Claire's heart as she stood on the porch, torn between the chaotic noise inside and the serene beauty surrounding her. Lily's delicate fingers moved tirelessly across the paper, filling it with colors that captured innocence even amidst uncertainty. "Maybe we should put your drawings inside, Lily. It might rain," Claire suggested, her voice trembling slightly as she glanced nervously toward the house. "Okay, Mommy," Lily replied, but her eyes remained focused on the page. "Just one more little thing." She added a bright yellow sun, its rays stretching out wildly, almost as if they wanted to escape the constraints of the paper. Claire admired the drawing, a symbol of hope that she needed to cling to. But just then, another crash echoed from inside, followed by a screech of laughter, taut with tension. "It's time," Claire whispered to herself, steeling her resolve. She needed to protect Lily and confront Jenna, no matter what. "Do you remember how we talked about being brave?" Claire asked, kneeling beside Lily again. "Aha. Like superheroes?" Lily said, her small face lighting up. "Yes, sweetheart, just like that. And you know what? Mommy is a superhero too. But I need your help to be brave, okay? Claire's heart raced, but fear transformed into a protective surge as she got to her feet. Let us go inside together, Claire said, taking Lily's small hand in hers. As they made their way back into the house, the air felt thick and tense, ready to snap. The moment they crossed the threshold, Claire's eyes landed on Jenna. She stood at the center of a crowd, her voice swirling like a storm, loud, unsettling, and yet strangely magnetic. The partygoers clustered around, whispering and shooting glances toward Claire and Lily. Jen's faces painted concern, some looked intrigued. I just think they deserve to know. Jenna's eyes sparkled with a cruel satisfaction, like she was the puppet master pulling invisible strings. What she's really like. Claire took a deep breath, squeezing Lily's hand tighter. Everyone, can I have your attention? The noise faded slightly, but the energy buzzed like a live wire. Jenna smirked. Oh, what a surprise. The good mother speaks. Enough. Claire exclaimed, pushing back the shock of raising her voice. If you want the truth to come out, then let us bring it all out into the light. The tension shifted in the room. Lily squeezed Claire's hand. Mommy, don't I mean, wait. Her voice quivered, but she glanced back at Claire with determination. I can do it. I want to tell everyone. Lily declared, her innocent bravery shining through. The crowd turned their attention to her, whispers buzzing like angry bees. Lily, honey, you don't, Claire began, but Lily interrupted. If everyone's gonna know, then I want to say it too. I know the truth. Lily's small voice rang out, cutting through the charged atmosphere. Claire's heart swelled with pride and terror simultaneously. Lily, wait. But the room was a whirlpool. Jenna raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued and irritated all at once. Go on, sweetie. Let us hear what you think you know. Lily took a step forward, her tiny hands clenched at her sides. Mommy is a good mom. She's brave and kind. She loves me, and she always takes care of me. You don't know her like I do. Gasps rippled through the audience. Claire's heart raced not just from fear of what might come next but from the undeniable truth in Lily's words. Hope surged through her chest, Jenna's smile faltered, irritation flickering across her face, revealing just a hint of the unease buried beneath the confident exterior. Before Claire could respond, the crowd murmured, an electrifying blend of support and skepticism filling the room. Faces turned to Claire, seeking answers, wanting clarity. Claire felt the weight of their gazes pressing down on her, an urgent truth there, waiting to be told. Lily's right. I am her mother, and I always have been, she began, her voice trembling with both fear and determination. But you don't know everything, tell us, Claire, someone from the crowd encouraged. What is the truth? 1. Question, lingering above the rest, settled in the air. Could she trust these people? Did attention and confrontation lead to freedom, or was it a deeper trap? As the room felt more charged, Claire's stomach twisted with the knowledge that she was ready to dive into the chaos, bent on reclaiming her life and her truth. What darkness awaited her the moment she revealed everything? Would they believe her? With the truth at her fingertips, she smiled at Lily, wide-eyed and brave, and let her heart lead the way into the storm. Claire's heart raced as she stood at the precipice of truth, ready to unveil everything that lay hidden beneath layers of shame and fear. The room pulsed with anticipation, every gaze resting heavily on her. With Lily at her side, innocent and unwavering, Claire took a deep breath. Listen, everyone, she began, her voice echoing through the gathered crowd like a distant call to arms. I've made mistakes. I've struggled more than I'd like to admit. But I am here, fighting, doing my very best for Lily. Lily beamed up at her mother, a beacon of unwavering love. Mommy always tries to be strong. She declared with childlike enthusiasm, reminding Claire of the light they shared amidst the darkness. Claire clenched her fists, gathering strength as she pressed on. Not too long ago, I lost my way. I withdrew, thinking that it was easier to deal with things alone. Pride made me believe I could manage everything myself, without needing anyone. She glanced around, catching the eyes of neighbors, friends, and even those who might have once judged her. But it nearly cost me everything. My health declined, and I didn't ask for help. A murmur began to spread amongst the crowd, and Claire sensed their sympathy blossom like fragile petals. I didn't realize how deeply my actions affected this community until I saw how you all rallied together for me. A little girl with golden curls and a bright smile reminded me what it means to love and to be loved. I was too busy hiding to see the arms reaching out for me. Sobs filled the air, and Claire felt embers of hope ignite within her. I've faced battles, and I still am. I'm working on healing, for my sake, for Lily S. I don't want to run anymore, to hide from my past. Then don't. Shouted Tom, stepping forward from the crowd, his weathered face resolute. We're your community. We want to let you face anything alone. Emboldened, Claire nodded, her heart swelling as others joined in. Thank you. I want to be better. Not just for myself, but for all of you. So please, if any of you have ever felt the weight of pride or shame, know you're not alone. Let us build each other up, not tear each other down. Jenna shifted, her expression shifting from contempt to confusion while the crowd resonated with Claire's words. Though Claire could feel Jenna's gaze piercing through her, it no longer felt threatening. It felt like a challenge she was finally prepared to face. I'm not afraid of the truth, Jenna, Claire continued, her voice taking on a fierce clarity. You want to expose me? Fine. I'll expose myself. We all have a past, but mine doesn't dictate my future. The room erupted in murmurs of agreement, sympathy woven with newfound courage. Claire saw the softening of familiar faces, the encouragement sparking in their eyes. Mommy, can I draw them a picture too? Lily piped up suddenly, breaking the tension and shifting the mood like a sunbeam breaking through clouds. Claire's heart warmed with pride. Absolutely, sweet girl, she replied, hugging her close. With crayons in hand, Lily began to doodle again, laughter mixing in the air as the community started to share their own stories of struggle and strength, pouring out their vulnerabilities. They opened their lives while Claire felt the weight of her own shame begin to lift, revealing the bond that had always been simmering beneath the surface. Jenna, overwhelmed by the light blooming around them, took a step back, exposing her own insecurities in the face of such unity. You think this will last? She scoffed, though uncertainty vibrated beneath her bravado. It will last because we're together now, Claire replied, her tone unwavering. And together, we'll face whatever comes next. In this life, we don't come out of struggles unscathed, but we grow stronger, braver, and kinder, hand in hand. And there it was, like the final piece of a puzzle snapping into place. A wave of empathy washed over her, binding them all through silent promises and shared experiences. The fear dissipated, replaced by the warmth of community embracing a vulnerable heart. As the gathering began to dissolve into laughter and chatter, Claire rubbed her hands softly against Lily's back, the worry that had once consumed her fading away. Hope bubbled gently within, illuminating a path filled with endless possibilities, a chance for renewal, for love. Thank you for being my anchors, Claire whispered to Lily, who looked up with bubbles of joy dancing in her bright blue eyes. With each passing moment, Claire learned that true strength was not found in pride but in connection, and every heart around her was intertwined with her own. They would weather any storm together. Now, it was time for a new chapter, one guided by light, laughter, and the promise of tomorrow. Don't miss out on more transformative stories. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you're always updated. Hit that like button now to help us reach more hearts. We want to hear from you, so comment your thoughts about this emotional closure. And for true fans, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness the power of community and love. Show your support. This is the moment to connect.